much else. Get our favorite plays on the total sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subtitle som Kevin Konsel, Papa Konsel, Felina. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey there. Do you want to bet? Of course you want to bet. You want to bet sensibly and you want to bet sharp. And that's why you're with us. Welcome to today's edition of Want to Bet. We've got Pam Maldonado from ESPN with us. She crushes a lot of things, but she drills down on golf and tennis like nobody's business. And we are going to tap into that expertise to try to make you money there. Pam, no pressure, but kind of pressure. Kate Constable last night destroyed the WNBA. Like, no sweat, knock it out. You could have turned the game off at halftime. We crushed the White Sox first five. We crushed the White Sox on the money line, big plus money. As a show, we went 7-2 last night with some NBA bets pending. Like, Casillas come on with us a couple times. He hasn't lost a bet yet. Nick Costos, he's been on fire with us. We've been on fire as a show. We want to keep that going. We're grinding so you guys don't have to. And today, we're going to cover a look at the U.S. Open. We're not just going to look at some future tennis plays that you want to get on now. But we're also going to have everything you need for this very moment in the MLB, including a 1 p.m. start that I've got a strong play on. And obviously, NBA Game 3, we're going to be all over as well. Pam, welcome. You have the honors of making the day's first bet. What are you looking at first down?
Okay, first off, your music introduction is so awesome. I was over here in the background like, woo, I was enjoying it. Secondly, hey, no pressure. Everybody we've had is crushing it, and you have me on when we have Oakmont, literally the hardest course in America on PGA Tour. But no pressure. Make sure you get all your picks right.
No pressure. No, you're
no
all
pressure.
over.
So I've been doing exceptionally well in golf. It's been a very good season. Last week was a bit of a dud. I'm going to hope to bounce back on the hardest course. I'm going to start with Corey Connors for a top 20. He has been my go-to guy for golf all season long. And even last week, he did me dirty. He finished T27 instead of inside the top 20, but he is as steady as you can get as a Swiss watch. There's no flash when it comes to Connors. He's just relentless and he's precise. And that's exactly what I want from somebody that I'm putting my money on. Top 10 in ball striking, 11th in accuracy. His skill sets, Corey Connors, his skill sets are tailor-made for Oakmont course. He's going to find the fairway. He's going to be able to pin it high. It's just, can he do anything with the putter? And I think because the greens are so difficult, everyone should have a problem with them, that I'm going to rely on the players who gain from tee to green in nearly every start this season, and that's Connors. Short game, it's a bit of a miss, but at Oakmont, you want to avoid disaster instead of chase magic, and I think Connors can bring that.
So, like, do you prefer it when the degree of difficulty goes up even more and it is a tougher course? Does, like, how much, like, would you rather things be more standard? Like, how much does that factor into the plays you'll make this week and through the weekend?
I absolutely love it when the courses get more difficult and when there's more course history. Oakmont, okay, we haven't really been here. You know, we were last year, a couple years ago. We have maybe 5 starts. Only a couple guys are familiar with the course, and a lot has changed. The game technology itself has changed. So I'm looking, when it comes to like golf wagering, I really do prefer harder the better, because if you have a birdie fest, like my guys finished 10 under last week and they didn't cash inside the top 20. Like, what? I'm sorry. I need to now guess who's going to shoot 30 under, 20 under. Like, those become a lot more of lotto tickets to me. When you're looking at difficult courses, I enjoy those better because I want to go to the go-to ball strikers. If you're great off the tee, you're accurate, maybe you can bomb it and avoid some of the penalties. But are you really great with your irons? Because more so than anything on difficult courses, if you can hit fairways and be solid with your irons, the rest of the game is just going to kind of follow suit. And when you have greens that are this difficult, like right now, they were running at a 16 stimp, which basically means it is marble out there. You drop a ball and it's going to roll 15 feet past. When you have that level of difficulty on a green, every player should have trouble because of touch. you're going to take time to adjust. Morning wave, afternoon wave, that's going to come into play once they firm up. So I think I'm going to be less on how good are you at putting, and more of, are you a solid ball striker? Those are the players I'm going to trust.
Excellent. Ben and I are going to learn a lot today. Beltway Ben, what do you got on first down?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a pretty simple play here. I like SGA for 30 plus and the Thunder on the money line just to get it right around minus 114. SGA's got 30 plus points in 9 of his last 10 games. And we saw the adjustment period for him in the playoffs. We saw it last year. Last year, we know he wasn't getting to the free throw line as much, and things changed, and everybody was kind of calling him fraudulent and all that. This year, it started off somewhat slow. The Grizzlies series was kind of its own thing because that was a very handily series for them. But then you looked at the Nuggets series, and he started slow, and things weren't going well, and they were down 2-1 in the series. He had to figure things out. Like I said, 9 of his last 10, he's got 30-plus points. In this series, he's combined for 51 shots and 20 free throws. He's starting to figure out his regular season self, and I think it's going to continue. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes for 30-plus in every game in this series, as long as the games stay somewhat close. And now that we're a little deeper in, I don't think Carlisle will be punting as early. Yeah. But this is a road game. He has to be the one to lead this team. The Thunder know how important Game 3 is. I know they went down 2-1 to Denver, but on the road, in this type of environment, SGA is going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and I don't see the Thunder going down 2-1 here. I like them to win. I like SGA to go for 30-plus points.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the NBA Finals as well for my first down. And look, I've got this at first down, right? First, second through third. Third down, money down in the NFL. That's where, we have our favorite pick of the day. This is a first down for me because it's not my favorite play in this game, right? Like if you watch us or you follow us on Twitter, like I love first half over 109.5. Play it down from the 112, be a little safe, lay the 150. I love OKC minus 2.5 in the game. I bought it down when it was at 4. It's a little more pricey to buy it down now, but like those are some of my more favorite plays. Like Halliburton over 7.5 in assist. I like that a little more than Miles Turner. And look, I played a Hartenstein over 8.5 rebounds and assist personally. I was kind of trying to save that one for today. You know what happened? It moved to 9.5. You can't find it 8.5 anyway. But I do like this Miles Turner prop as well. Like he's over this. He's got 15 plus in 6 of his 8 home playoff games. He's averaging 16 a game in the playoffs. You look at what he does at home. He averages 16.6 per game in the playoffs. OKC, unbelievable defense at home. It slips on the road. Number 1 defensive rating at home, 99.3. It drops all the way to 8th in the postseason on the road, 114.4. Like you look at some of the effective field goal percentage from Turner at home. You look at his true shooting percentage from Turner at home. It's pretty otherworldly. Like we're talking a 66.5 EFG at home. He really excels catch and shoot. OKC's catch and shoot defense on the road slips a little bit. So this number's low enough for me. I also think he probably gets to the line maybe a few more times at home. Maybe they get a few more calls. So that's where I am on first down. All right, Beltway Ben, second down.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the NBA here. I'm going to go with Hartenstein, as you just mentioned, but I'm going to go with him over just as assists, 1.5 at minus 150.
I almost did that.
Hartenstein's a big play for me in this game as a whole, just because like Daigneault has to play him more. We saw how much better they were when on the court. We saw what he does, screening, good passing. And again, I've talked about it on the show multiple times. He is not selfish. He does not need to get his shots in. He'll throw the floater up a couple times, but he is always looking for that next guy to get a basket. We know how good Oklahoma City is scoring the basketball. He had 4 assists in game 2, and he had 9 potential assists. That's a massive amount. Second most on that team, which is pretty surprising, but he finally played more minutes. 20 in games where he's played 20 plus minutes, he's over in 6 of his last 8. So I don't see him playing the 17 that he played in game 1 again. I think he's going to play 22 to 24 at least. And if he does that, again, all we need is 2 assists. We need them to knock down 2 shots when he's passing it to him. Daigneault learned the lesson. Hartenstein's going to play a lot, and I like him over 1.5 assists.
Yeah, that's kind of baked into my over 8.5 rebounds and assists. Again, that doesn't exist anymore. And I love that play. My second down, I'm sticking with something. I said we were 7-2 last night. This lost, I'm going back to the well. Okay, San Francisco last night comes back from down 5-2 in the 9th. They beat the Rockies because everybody beats the Rockies. The Rockies have won 12 times all year. But San Francisco only wins by 1 run. They have 6 straight wins by exactly 1 run, which is the first time in 36 years in the major leagues that's happened. I don't think they win only by 1 today. They're going to win by 2 because their ace, Robbie Ray, is on the mound. They're 11-2 when Robbie Ray starts. 8 of those wins are on the run line. I just don't know what the Rockies are particularly good at, and they had to lean into some of their A relievers, and they do have a couple of guys who come out of the pen. They got a couple dudes who are getting it done, who they're going to trade at the deadline. Those guys pitched last night. Like, Kyle Freeland's been terrible at home. Kyle Freeland in Coors Field has a 7.71 ERA, 48 hits allowed in 25 2/3 innings pitched. That's a 2.2 whip. The Giants finally started swinging the bats late in the game last night. I think that'll carry over. We're going to stick with that. I just think that's too much value, again, for a Rockies team that's won 12 times all year and is terrible on the run line. All right, Pam, educate us on some golf. Second down.
All right, what do we got? What graphic? We got Keegan Bradley. Oh, man. Okay, this is fun because I've basically convinced myself that Bradley is winning this tournament. I love him obviously I love him for top 20 at Mega Plus money. He's just been a T-degree monster, and it's not something that's been happening as of late. It's consistent throughout 2025. He's actually second in the field behind Scotty Scheffler in the last 32 rounds. He has back-to-back top 10 finishes. So you're talking about a player that has a lot of momentum coming into one of the hardest courses that demands precision with your irons and off the tee. That's exactly Captain Keegs right here. So I love him for a top 20. His ball striking is A+. His putter, that's the wild card. He is definitely volatile, but if he holds serve, that is a steal at plus money price. I love him. If you love him as much as I do, if you look at his stats, top 10 at plus 450, top 5 at 10-1, and to win at 90-1. I'm not saying I'm playing all of those, but I believe that they're worth long shots. So I love him to potentially win this tournament. I think it's a lotto ticket that actually has some legs. He's got him. He's underrated around the greens. And if you're going to miss putts, you've got to be good around the greens. So if he can stay hot with his irons and finally trust the putter on some of these volatile greens, I think Oakmont turns into a survival mode from tee to green, and he's built for that. He's built for battle. So call it what it is. Wow. Chaos Golf. We're going to see carnage this week. I want to go swing for the fences. I think he's synced and confidence is loud. So if there was ever a time for one time, come on, Captain Keegan.
You got me. Oh, you stole my question before I could ask you. So I was big. All right, you teased he could win the whole tournament. What could we get for him to win the whole tournament? Oh, it's just 90-1.
Just 90-1.
Just 90-1.
Well, there was also, and just this morning, like I did my betting card on Monday. Just this morning, I saw a stat that 6 of the last 7 won the U.S. Open for the first time. Won the 6 of the last 7 winners at the U.S. Open won a major for the first time. That would be right up the mark for Keegan, which means Scheffler, step aside.
Yeah, I like that. Go! I am Team Keegan, and I will be jumping on some apps as soon as we finish this show. But we've got more money to make for you guys in the interim. Okay, third down. I'm going back to that Reds Guardians series, and I'm going to jump on Nick Lodolo over the 16.5 outs. Like, at minus 125, you could play this for first 5 if you want to drill down on the starting pitching that way. But I like the length that Lodolo's been getting. Now, why did I love Reds' first 5 money line so much last night? They had a lefty, Andrew Abbott, on the mound. The night before that, the Reds cashed with their worst lefty, Wade Miley, on the mound. 3 straight lefties against a Guardians team that can't hit lefties. They strike out over 29% of the time against lefties at home. That's bottom 4 in MLB. They've got a team OPS around 580 against lefties at home for the season. And now they're seeing a third straight one, and it's probably their best one, the one who, when he's on, has the most wipeout stuff, and one who's been providing length. So, like, I look at Lodolo. He's routinely going 6 innings or more. 14 games started. He's gone 5 1/3 in 11 of them. 9 times he's gone the full 6 inning. We've seen a Guardians team that Miley got 15 outs against them. Abbott went over this last night. It's a day game after a night game. I like the way this kid's stuff will probably play during the game. And the Guardians just seem to be in their own heads right now, facing lefties. And again, Lodolo is somebody who their skipper expects to provide length. He has provided length, and it would not shock me again if he goes at least 6 innings here. Okay, third down, Pam. What do you have that could possibly top Keegan Bradley?
Nothing. Bradley is the man, but let's of course go with Scheffler. If it's not Keegan, then let's go with Scheffler. That makes most sense. So what I love about Scheffler is that he has been the most consistent player, right? You're not betting on, oh, well, this is a fluke. No, it's actually consistency over the course of the last 2 years, 3 years. So what I love about him is that he is Mr. Steady. He doesn't ease into things. He kind of really tends to erupt out of the gate. Scheffler is third on tour in round one scoring. And if you look at all of his individual rounds for every tournament that he's played in 2025, his best stuff comes in the first round. In fact, he's gaining 4 strokes total in the opening rounds. And after that, he just kind of coasts and he does exceptionally well. So you don't ever have an opportunity to really wait for a better number live because Scotty doesn't give you that opportunity. So I really like him for a first round top 10 inside the plus 150. I can see him finishing in the top 5. I could even see him being a first round leader, which is 12-1. So it's kind of one of those situations where you bet Scotty early, he's live early, and then you never really have an opportunity to touch him again. So if he doesn't pop off on Thursday, some side note tip is he's first on tour in round 2 scoring. So there's your bounce back play. So I would say if he doesn't finish in the top 5 tomorrow, look for him to finish in the top 5 on Friday. Maybe even finish with the second lowest round with the lowest round in the second round. But Scheffler for a first round top 10 plus 150, that's as good as money as you can get for somebody of his caliber who's literally immaculate in every aspect of the game. And what are his flaws? None.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't make you quite enough money, but he makes you plenty. Beautiful. Love it. All right, Beltway Ben. Let's close out third down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an under here, and it hurts me to do it.
You're fading a Terp.
I'm a Terp fan, diehard Terp fan. I did want to mention, I saw on Twitter somebody saying, like, if you watched Aaron Wiggins in college, you never could have seen this coming. No, he played in a Mark Turgeon offense that was a joke, and he didn't get the ball much. It had nothing to do with him. Anybody who really knows watches him and says he has an NBA skill set, and not many Terps did at that time.
No.
But I like him under the 9.5 points, rebounds, and assists today. And I just think, honestly, usage, and he's under in 7 of his last 9. What he did last game was awesome. And he did play 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. He was already over by then, but a lot of those minutes he played in the fourth quarter were during the blowout. I think this would be a tight game. Aaron Wiggins, the 2 that he did go over were at home. I think on the road, I don't think he plays much, maybe 11 to 15 minutes. And he hasn't been amazing scoring the ball in all these games. He's not even taking a ton of shots. Against Minnesota, he didn't go over in 1 game, and he also took 5 shots, which was the most he took. Other than that, 3, 2, 1. And he played 8 minutes in one of those games. He played 9 minutes in game 1 against the Pacers. I don't know if we just see that. Daigneault, if he's the smart guy that we all think he is, will probably play him a little bit more. But I don't think he's going to come out and take 8 threes and knock down 5 of them. And he was hot early with this crowd pushing it a little bit. I don't know that we see him on the court as much. I like him to go under the 9.5 PRAs after he combined for 23 in game 2.
Yeah, he's become very public, and we love that for him, and we love that for the Terps. My son Rocco heading to College Park in the fall. We're very excited about that. So yeah, I think now is probably the time to fade him. Now is also time to talk about a college program near and dear to Pam's heart as we segue. So Ben and I, big Terps fans. Pam, I know you, right? You're still living in Austin. I guess you were living in Austin last time we talked. You're still living in Austin. I know you pay a lot of attention to the Longhorns. The Longhorns obviously have turned the corner under Sark. Are you starting to think about them in gambling terms at all for the fall? Are you looking at some of their futures? Where are you on the state of the Longhorns?
So, yes, I still live in Austin, and I have a fun story of last year. I was kind of pegged as like the worst Longhorn fan because I was consistently fading them in the betting market. So, but it's one of those things where you are paying for the logo and not necessarily for what they can actually bring. And my biggest wager of the season was backing Ohio State against them to cover the -6. And I said, and I went on air, national television, and I said, I'm going to wear my full Texas Longhorn garb and I'm going to be rooting and hollering, but I'm also going to be holding an Ohio State ticket. And I want to watch this game cash in person. And so I was there and I did. And that's kind of the state of where I'm at with Texas. I am very excited for what's possible. I don't believe this is the year that we're going to break out. We're not going to win a title. I think everything is overhyped. For Arch Manning to be the Heisman favorite right now, I'm sorry, who? What? Why?
Yeah.
For us to be the favorite to win the Natty, again, we lost so many players to the NFL draft that this is going to be a very young team, not to mention that Arch, hey, he's only played like a handful of times. What is he really truly capable of? Oh, and you have to play Ohio State out of the gate on the road in week 1? What? Now the rest of the schedule really sets up nicely. You have Oklahoma midseason, you have Georgia at the end, A&M at the end, both the two teams that are expected to be better than last. So I think this is going to be a really good challenge for what Sark. How good are you as a coach? How quickly can you develop your young quarterback into something good? I think he's very exciting in that he's different from Quinn Ewers because he does have that mobility factor to him and he's healthier than Ewers was. But I'm not giving myself high expectations here. It's a reality. I think it's going to be a reality check for Longhorn fans. It's going to be a good season. Give him a couple of, maybe next year will be the breakout.
Ben, you are far more of the college football diehard than I am. Anything that you would like to glean from Pam about the Longhorns?
Look, what's your opinion on Sark? Like, I kind of bought into him, and we still see the letdowns in the big games. Like, where are you on Sark as a Texas fan? Are you confident that he can eventually get them to a national championship, or do you think it'll be a 5-year almost getting there, underachieving, and then they part ways?
Well, the problem with Sark is that every team that he's had has either been really young and then one that he kind of like inherited, right? So he was like, all right, now I finally got my guys. These are the ones that I recruited. I think we've seen the offensive growth. He comes in with the quarterback, coach lineage, but he hasn't really taken off, and expectations are always higher than what they probably should be. The question is, can he sustain excellence across depth, deal with injuries, and adapt with other Big 12, with other SEC heavyweights? And it's just, I don't ever see with what they have now that they can do that, because he just consistently finds himself with a team, coaching a team that is always just so young. And what we've seen is over the last few years is that the teams that excel, they have veteran talent. Longhorns have the talent. That's never going to be the question. They're going to recruit well, but they just never have enough players who have been on the team long enough, together long enough to gel into a national title contender. I think that's going to be his downfall.
Sounds like we are all punting. Adam Gase is our punter. We go with Dan Campbell when we're going for it because he rides the lightning. We are all going to punt on the proposition of putting any of your hard-earned money on Pam's Longhorns to win the Natty this year. Woo, how spooky is that? Look at that.
That is crazy.
That is. Look at him. And with my screwed up screen behind him, he looks even crazier. Okay, that brings us to overtime. Pam, we are just days removed from an epic weekend. I guess an epic fortnight at Roland Garros. Did I say that correctly? But certainly these finals. And everybody's celebrating with the ball boys and the ball girls. And it looks like the world has embraced the men's and women's champions. Just wondering your thoughts about the French Open, and then obviously that's a very different surface than everything else. It's kind of its own deal. Anything that you're taking over from your caps and what happened in the French Open into Wimbledon? Your thoughts on the French Open, and then we'll get into Wimbledon.
Well, I loved the French Open this year. It was a very exciting tournament. There's a lot of volatility involved, and of course, it ended off the way it should have. You have number 1 and number 2, and that's it. It's Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. These are literally the 2 best players ahead of even Djokovic. So I was very excited to see that. I'm very surprised to myself to say that final between Sinner and Alcaraz jumped into my top 5 immediately as one of my all-time favorite matches. Wow. And even contends to be inside the top 3. Now, what I don't like about it, I am the biggest Djokovic fan. Like the biggest Djokovic fan. Like, hi, Djokovic. We have coffee every morning.
Nice.
And it's something that we've seen for a while now, that he no longer has the ability to contend with Jannik Sinner or Alcaraz in a best of 5. We did see him win Olympics, and he did beat Alcaraz, but that was also a best of 3 in a best of 5, because the sheer power that these 2 players have, Djokovic has yet to find an answer for it. Now because of that, what I like for Wimbledon, I like Alcaraz again. He is built like a brick wall with wheels. He's impossible to hit through, impossible to outrun. And his hands, legit, it's pure magic. He has the slice, he has the drop shot, he has the touch, and grass rewards feel. And Carlos Alcaraz has got Federer like finesse with 10 times the firepower. His serves are intentional. It's not just speed, it's not just power. He places it like a surgeon. He follows it up with the forehand that ends before the point even breaks you, before you blink. He learns, and he also learns. Alcaraz is one of those players that adapts mid-match. He's doing at such a young age, 22 years old, what we saw Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic do in their late 20s, early 30s, and that is adapt on the fly mid-match, make the corrections, and that's when he becomes so terrifying. He learns so fast. 1 year on grass, cool. He already has the title. Give him another year is dominance. So I like Alcaraz to win Wimbledon.
Wow.
I just had a whole love story right there about Alcaraz.
No, I'm convinced. Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to ask, like, again, I'm definitely a tennis casual. I did watch the championship. I watched both the men's and the women's. But, like, for Alcaraz, like, what takes him so long? And I was reading some stuff. Like, in a lot of these matches, doesn't he get it started a little late and take it off early and then get it going late? Like, he was down to the final point, could have lost, and battles back. Like, is there something with him that he could get it started earlier? Or
I think one, he's still 22 years old, right? And all of this success kind of came at lightning speed. But for one, he's definitely more of like a rhythm player. He doesn't hit balls. He feels his way into the match. Early games are like tuning a guitar before the solo. And every opponent is different. So he has such a high level of IQ that he's starting to study patterns. He's testing the shots. He's gauging pace. It's calculated, not careless. And because Alcaraz has so many weapons at his disposal, early on, he's testing what works with who and when. And because of that, yeah, we could kind of see him like lose the first set like 6-1. But then what happens? He comes back and he bagels his opponent in the second set. So it's early on. He's just, I have all of these things. Which one do I use? It's basically like, let's call it like shot variety overload. When you have every tool in the toolbox, it takes a minute to figure it out.
Okay, well, I will definitely be sprinkling on him. This is Meatball, our middle dog. That is a standard 1 unit play. I will be Meatball and I will put some dog, some PetSmart money on that play on the men's side. How about on the women's side? Are you rolling with Coco? What do you see there?
No, Coco for Wimbledon is not a very good match. She's definitely more like, I want to say clay court is her strength. She needs a slower pace. But I would say like Sabalenka, this is definitely her turn. This could be a tournament where she like contends again. I would love to say Rybakina, but she's just been so volatile and injury prone all of 2025 and dealing with off-court stuff. But Sabalenka is definitely a player who can win this again. She's proven that she is the woman to beat on tour. And when it comes to grass, it's about shortening points and having big serves. And what does Sabalenka like to do? Shorten points and has a massive serve. So she has the power, she has the IQ, and she definitely has the experience in majors to make it deep. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins again. Outside of her, I would have to do a little bit more digging to see who I like for longer shots.
Excellent. Well, Ben, I forgot to have you put this up just so Pam truly can appreciate in visual form what she has walked into and how we have been doing. Do you have the graphic of last night's betting slips just for documentation's sake? There you go. So if you've played along with us at home yesterday, green are hits, reds are misses. We still have the Halliburton obviously to come tonight. Kate's play and my play. Again, today I'm on a Turner prop over. We've got some props from earlier in the week. I'll say it again, I love first half of the NBA Finals over 109.5. I love OKC on alt lines -2.5 tonight. Ben, what did you have earlier in the week again?
Siakam's points for another go.
Third time's the charm.
Absolutely.
And Pam, please let everybody know where they can find all of your amazing content in tennis, in golf, in everything, NFL. Where can people get the full Pam Maldonado experience?
Mostly everything lives on Twitter or X. We're still saying Twitter. Lives on
Twitter.
Twitter. Pamela M35. I'm starting to use Threads a lot more just because I feel like it's a different avenue than I need Twitter to breathe for a little bit. But on Instagram as well, Pamela.Maldonado35. That's more for like if you want to see like bodybuilding and golf stuff.
Okay.
And then all my articles on ESPN.com.
Awesome. Well, we thank you so much for making us much smarter on your areas of expertise. We would love to have you join us again. Tomorrow, Ben and I will be on the stream at 11, not noon. Break mostly going to be probably NBA heavy and some MLB. Our buddy Greg Peterson from VSiN, who is a college basketball and baseball savant, will be digging into his expertise on Friday. And I hope to have this screen not making everybody nauseous tomorrow, but trial and error. We're still in the early days. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Pam. We'll see everybody tomorrow on WannaBet.